Hello and welcome back to another episode of Transport Fever 2. Last episode, we redid a portion of this steel mill and added this new truck station, which runs a little bit better than the one before, but as you can see here, we still have some issues, and I think that's coming from these really short road segments right here. So that causes both of these lanes to pause before entering this road since there's already a vehicle on it. So it sort of waits for that vehicle to exit that segment of road before entering again. And I'm not too sure how to fix this immediately without redesigning this area again, so we're gonna leave it as is and hope that maybe there's just some sort of vehicle imbalance on the line that's causing this surge of trucks. We'll continue to keep an eye out on it, but I think redesigning this or making it more efficient, at least in the future, is definitely on the list of things to do now. And now, moving over to another truck station that could probably use some work. This video, we will be sort of redesigning this port area so we can get a better, more efficient truck station as these cities continue to grow and demand more resources, as we currently have 5 of the 6 resources flowing through here. The only one we don't have connected up yet is goods, and that's because neither city requires it just yet, but we definitely want to be prepared for when that comes. So I think expanding out this way with the port and sort of dedicating a whole area to the truck station would definitely be beneficial and improve how our trucks run through here. So of course the first thing we're going to do is pretty much delete everything over here. This is going to be pretty rough deleting all of that, but definitely necessary. And now let's get our new truck station down placed as soon as possible so we can let the game continue to run while we detail everything else. Alright, so here's sort of the base of what we're going to run with. We have 6 platforms for all 6 resources. We made them fairly large so that they can hold a bunch of trucks and a bunch of resources. We can see here each platform can hold 100 resources at a time, so that's good. And now all we have to do is set up our terminals, and then we can let the game start to run, so then after that we can detail everything else. Alright, so let's let this play, and we can see we are still connected to the port, which is good for us, and we should be able to now start placing down some storage buildings here and detailing the area. Now, unfortunately, with making this much larger truck station here, I don't think it's reasonable to have this side of this dock be accessible anymore, so in the future we will have to expand it out this way more, but for now let's just come in, and I think we can just delete that one, and we'll just have to make sure everything else is back to being okay with where they're going to come in to this port. So at the moment every line still does have its own port, but again in the future we will have to expand it, and we might have to expand it out this way, sort of one more block, which shouldn't cut into the land too much, but of course will require some redesigning. So now that we're pretty much ready there, let's start placing down our buildings. So let's get some large storage buildings placed there, and then I'm not sure if we can place one on this side. Let's fix the terrain first. We'll expand this out a good bit, and then hopefully Yeah, we can see it's not going to let us do that, which really stinks and limits how much we can actually store here. So we're gonna have to rely a lot on these buildings doing most of the work. And we might even have to just fill in these gaps here where we can with storage buildings, and we'll have to figure out how we want to cover those up later. So let's get on to the detailing of this area, and of course the first thing I want to add is probably a warehouse onto the end of this truck station. So I kind of like this one. It's not too big. If we look at some of these others, they get very large, although this one almost seems to perfectly fit the width of our platform here. So I think let's actually go with this one and see what we can get to come out of it. Alright, so here is sort of the very rough base of what this area is going to look like. We have this warehouse with a road so you can enter through the doors on this side, and we have some asphalt over here which will most likely be for parking, so we'll add some parking spots there. This side, which might end up being more of a loading dock area despite all of this here, but this would sort of be more like back of house. And I think everything in terms of large moves is good, so now we can get into a lot of the finer things and make this area really look nice and really start to pop. So just coming around here, we have pretty much the main entry area where all the trucks and cars would come in and out of. So everything enters through here and then comes into the truck station through their respective path. And you can see we've covered up pretty much all of the cargo buildings with just some industry building assets. I think most of them fit. It was really hard to get some that sort of have this older look and that also fit in this space. So I think it turned out okay for the circumstances. Definitely could look better in some areas, but I much prefer these variety of industry buildings as opposed to the basic storage building, especially when we place a lot of them down. So then all the trucks flow out of these roads here and take this road back where they head into the city once again. Over here at the warehouse, this is sort of what that looks like. We have some small truck parking for just a few trucks, maybe things that are coming to drop stuff off for the warehouse, or maybe if the warehouse has any trucks, they'd park here. So we have some of that, some random storage and junk laid around. Then as for the other side, we have our parking area where everyone will park for the warehouse, the main entry, and you can sort of see in the windows the offices that are there. I think this looks pretty good. It looks out into this bay. And then coming to the space between the port and the truck station, we have this storage area where all the goods come to get stored after they are dropped off. I think this looks pretty good as well. I would like to have some more variety of roads so we don't get just this, the sort of base street road with trees, but it still doesn't look terrible. And then of course everything over here remains unchanged for now. In the future, I definitely do want to expand out this way, especially once we re-add that extra landing that we took away from over here. Now, the last tiny bit of detail I'm going to add before we end this video, I think we could probably get a larger crane in here. So this would really be sort of something that moves all of the goods around this area. And I'm not too sure if we want to go this tall. I think maybe a crane like this, or maybe even this type of crane would be best suited. So we'll leave that there. and we can see it even has a little animation of the hook going up and down, so I quite like that, and we'll pretty much leave it as is. So if we speed this up and just sort of keep an eye on the trucks that are coming in and out of here, it definitely seems to be flowing a good bit smoother than it was before. We still do have some issues where this intersection gets blocked sometimes, but I think once the city expands, we might have some trucks take this road up into Jackson instead of coming all the way over and then up. So obviously there's always more detail we could add to this area, but I'm very happy with how we are going to leave it off in this video. So with that, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. If you have any suggestions or feedback, leave a comment below. Thanks for watching and have a great day.